Hi everyone, Brian Rhodes here. Last night I was going through some of my earlier blogs and I was replying to comments that were made, and it was interesting because someone came out and asked me, what is original content? What do I think original content was? Well, I really started thinking about it. It seemed like a simple question at first, but it certainly didn't have a simple answer. I started getting very cerebral about it, and I got philosophical in some ways, and then I started thinking, wait a second, this can't be what we're talking about when we talk about original content on Steemit. So I decided that the powers to be, the founders, maybe Steemit blog or Steemit.com or someone had surely defined what they mean by original content. So I started doing some digging, and I eventually found I have some notes here. I eventually found the 2017 Steam Growth Plan, which was blogged on about 3 months ago on Steemit blog. The authors were Mitchell at Zervanic, and Andrew at Andrarchy. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. It's very interesting in that it maps out the plan for 2017, and the emphasis was on communities, effortless onboarding, and mobile. Well, it seems they're on track because they're certainly working in communities. Witness the most recent crowdsourcing project, Steemit project in New York, as well as effortless onboarding. We know what's going to happen when we come up with H20 velocity, and of course mobile, which they've been working diligently on since I came on. Certainly before I started blogging in April, but when I came on in, I believe it was August of last year. So they're on track without question. And as I dug further reading through it, guess what? I found what they believe is a definition of original content. So I want to read it here. It says, quote, and this is what they deem to be original content. We want focused, specific content that adds value to our lives and solves specific problems. I think it's great. I think it's very easy to understand. It's clear without question. Doesn't have a lot of philosophical contents to it. It's simple and it's great. So, I encourage you to go back and read the 2017 Steam Growth Plan, again, about 3 months ago on Steemit blog, and read it for yourself and get a feel for where we're going with Steemit, okay? We've got to understand, we should understand, nobody's got to do anything. We should understand that, Steemit is in its infancy. It is important that you grasp that. We're still in beta. We still don't have onboarding, down pat. But we do have something very different, the reward system in a social network on the blockchain. I mean, just think about it for a moment. It can't help but be tremendously successful once we open up the floodgates. And of course, that seemingly is going to be happening pretty soon with H20. So I guess what I want to say to everybody out there is that, yes, we're having difficulty sometimes in building rewards and so on, etc. But the numbers out there are very small right now compared to others. So just be patient, keep blogging, and stake out your claim through those blogs. By that I mean you make sure you're recognized for whatever you want to be recognized to on Steemit. That's your goal right now. You'll make some money. You'll probably not make a lot of money, but wait until the floodgates are opened, and then you've already developed your strategy, whether you know it or not. You've staked out your claim, and you're going to be able to build communities at that point at a very strong pace. So I encourage you to be patient, please, when it comes to your blogging currently. It's not going to take too long, believe me. There are a lot of people out there on Reddit and Facebook and YouTube and others that will find it very interesting if they can come on to Steemit, start blogging for rewards, but also to stake out their claim, their community. That's what it's all about. When they say communities, they mean communities, whether it be the poet community, as some close friends of mine are now getting involved in, whether it be the film community that Dan at Starlight and I are working on. Regardless of what it is, it's time to start building the nucleus of that community. You reach those people, those followers, you'll have a lot more people following once onboarding is established through H20. And then there'll be just a gradual grow, but it'll be, almost like so. It'll be slower and then watch what happens. That's the history of these types of releases. So just be patient. Now, what I'm trying to do here as well is just trying to map a plan for others to follow to make small films. So as you know, I just released the plan to actually do a film by utilizing the rewards that were given for original content, and do it in such a way that the person who's head manning the film also will be able to reap personal rewards for all the work he's doing. So one of the established aspects of this program, this filmmaking on Steemit, is that and I'm going to try it initially on the film that I'm doing to see how well we do. We're cutting new ground here. It's like, we're a bunch of wagon trains heading out to California. We may have a lot of troubles on the way, but look at the world and life they built for themselves. So and for us, quite frankly. And so what I'm doing is sort of living by the sword. I'm trying to work this out as I go along. So bear with me, some things will change. One of the things I want to start out with is that 50% of the Steam dollars that are generated with every project that I mark as the film project. In this case, the title of the project is called Whoops, W-H-O-O-P-S. That's right, Whoops. It's a dark comedy. Now, and it's only 5-6 pages long. But that's the project. When it appears in the title, 50% of the Steam dollars in that project are going to go to underwrite the production of Whoops, okay? Number one. That's what's going to happen in this case, and I hope it works really well so that others can follow in our footsteps, all right? The other thing is, as I mentioned, the identification. I'm not sure whether it should be in the title, whether we should put Whoops aptly in the title, or whether we should put Whoops positioned aptly in the first line of the text. I'll figure that out, but because I'm not sure that people who are unknowing about what Whoops is will maybe be confused if we put it in the title, but will be more comfortable if they're attracted on that basis of the title and then see Whoops in the text. I'm going to figure that out, and it's going to start with this particular blog, so I'll have it figured out by the end of my talking today, okay? So that identity is important. The other thing that I have to start out with, of course, is a project agreement. Now keep in mind, this isn't as simple as it sounds. We've got to have an agreement for both union and non-union. I'm going to attach, actually not attach, I'll put in the text, the JPEG of a non-union agreement that I've written up. I won't be using it in this particular project because this will be a union agreement for actors. Now the reason for that is I've cast myself in it. I'm a professional actor under ACTRA here in Canada and also qualified for SAG in the United States. So I have to make this an ACTRA project. So in this case, ACTRA for me means an ACTRA co-op agreement. They have a document which means that the actors in this, all the actors in this, have to be union, all right? These are some of the dilemmas that you run into, but they're not that difficult. They can be easy to overcome. I suspect most of the people that will be doing filmmaking through Steemit will in fact be doing it non-union. So I'll attach a non-union agreement so you can look at it. Now, why the agreement? Well, first of all, it's going to lay out clearly what percentage of ownership of the project each person has. That ownership will dictate what percentage of the revenue generated by the project, right? And that goes through whether, in fact, it's person A, B, C, or D who, after it's released on Steemit, puts it out there somewhere, although I would hope it would be in concert with all of the other owners, where they actually enter the project into a film contest or a film festival or whatever, and will share any of the process and are compelled to share any of the process by the percentage ownership, even from projects or even from a revenue generated outside of Steemit. And there's a reason for that, is because if they do, in fact, apply to a festival, and for whatever reason they attend the festival, then if they blog about that, again, 50% of the monies that are collected through the of Steam dollars that are collected through the blog will in fact go to fund the application for festivals, and maybe even to select a couple of people, 1 or 2 people, to pay their way to a festival, who knows, in Germany, the Berlin Film Festival, which are very prominent, maybe even Sundance. I'm not sure Sundance takes short films, I'm not sure, but any ones that take short films. And there could be great pride, of course, that comes from this, and some money, obviously, and of course, paying our dues to Steemit by announcing that this film was funded through the actual Steem cryptocurrency and on Steemit, the platform. So there's a lot of things to be happening here, and there may be enough money left over as well, as I say, to share. But one thing about the money is that the costs of the making the film are to be paid first before any share beyond that of any of the goes to any of the participants. Okay, pay your expenses first, then you can share what's left over. Okay. Now I'm not sure I want to cover anything more on this particular blog, except to say that I have reached out to a co-producer. Now, I have some experience, obviously, in producing, so, you know, I don't want everybody out there saying, oh my gosh, you know, Brian can do this, but maybe we can't. So I'm going to stand back. When it comes to drawing up an agreement that could be used by everybody, I will write that, or I will lay that out, and then you can decide whether you want to use it or not. It's up to you. When it comes to the plan of 50%, for example, I'm using that as a model. You can change it for whatever you want. 50% of Steem dollars, you can make it 75% of Steem dollars, you can make it 25% of Steem dollars. But just remember, you've got to put a crew together to make the film and actors to help you act. So, you know, it very much with a co-op agreement becomes a you know, a team project, which is very important to understand, because actors, acting, you know, is not a singular sport. You know, there's team in acting. It's a collaborative media. It's a collaborative. Acting is a collaborative act when it comes to not only rehearsing. You'll find when you want somebody to read the other side, but also on the set itself. So just remember that teams make it work. So as I say, I may oversee, but I'm going to let the co-producer run this. And when I'm on set as an actor and the director's there, I'm going to take directions just like everybody else. If they ask me my advice, I might not even give it. I mean, what we've got to have here is to show you that this can be done by following this format or following this idea or plan, so that you can come along and, as I say, follow in our footsteps, okay? And one of the reasons I'm doing this also is to attract new people to Steemit. I want, when this is done, to send out releases to some extent to all of the acting workshops I've been involved, to all of the actors I have in my CRM, to say to them that, look, here's a place where you can go, you can put a team of people together, and you can start creating small pieces that you can use for your acting reel or whatnot. It's that simple. And I'm hoping that through that, we'll help fulfill the objectives that were outlined in the 2017 STEAM growth plan of communities, building the community, in this case, the film community, obviously onboarding, and mobile. And in mobile, I couldn't imagine better grist for the mill than a short film that they could stream. So stream directly, hopefully from obviously Steemit in some way from the platform. So that's it for today. I hope it's been some help, and I'll try to get another blog out tomorrow. Okay, as soon as things develop. You take care. We'll talk to you soon.